I should have stayed in bed.
Good morning, Ray.
Morning, Nico. How are you?
I'm well. How's your coffee?
Yeah, it's going down very well. I'm not used to being out of bed this time of day. You had to knock down the door to get me out of bed.
I did.
You're a painter. You're up at 5 a.m. I'm not. I'm struggling, but it's a very special person we've got today.
Yes, we're both up at Sparrows Fart this morning because we are taking a very special call all the way from America.
It's a very special call. We have a world champion wakeboarder, actually 2 times world champion wakeboarder. She's got the Trick of the Year award. She's been a reality TV star, but she's an all-round amazing ambassador for Mildura and all things wakeboarding. Who have we got, Nico?
This morning we are talking to Bec Gange.
Great to have you with us today, Bec. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's start off by talking a little bit about your childhood. Did you grow up in Mildura?
I did, born and raised.
How did your love of wakeboarding start?
I actually didn't like wakeboarding when I first tried it, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. My brother was into it. I mean, we didn't get a boat till I was about 11, and I really enjoyed single skiing when I learned that. But yeah, wakeboarding wasn't really my thing for a little while.
How did you go from single skiing into wakeboarding? So obviously Tristo's the wakeboarder, was he?
Yeah, Tristan was a wakeboarder. He did it, and he's with his friends and stuff, and they were trying flips. And then we went from the first boat we had to a bigger boat for the time that had the tower, and we put fat sacks in it. And then the wake was just too big to ski behind. And then I started to wakeboard more and learn a couple of wake to wakes and learned some tricks, and then started falling in love with it from there.
So then from there, what made you go, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to have a crack at going to go next level. And what's it kind of taken to get you to that next level?
I guess when we started going to the local contests, that's when we started realizing that I was pretty decent at it in Australia. Like, we went to the South Australia contest because they were closer than the Victoria ones. So we would go to them and then meet new people. And then from there, we went to the Australian Nationals and then landed my first invert. And then I just grew to know more people and learn more things and learn more tricks, and then realized America is the place to go for it. And then it all just kind of ventured from there.
Was Tristan competing as well early on, or did he just give it up once you got better than him?
Yeah, we actually tried to keep a secret that I landed a flip before him. We didn't want him to know, and I didn't have a very consistent at that time. But yeah, we wanted him to keep coming down in the boat, so we didn't really tell him for a while. He actually organized a few contests in Mildura, some little local ones, and he was kind of the forefront of wakeboarding in Mildura there with a few other people. And yeah, then he kind of hit 18, 19, and I started landing flips, and then he got back into it when he was 21 and started competing in the South Australia contest with me. He didn't compete in nationals, but he won a state titles. He won one of those one year.
So Bec, let's talk a bit more around some of the tricks that you've learned along the way. First of all, how long do you have to practice a trick?
Some tricks take a while, and then some things I've landed really quickly, like the whirlybird 540. It's a tantrum with an overhead, and we spin 540 degrees. So a whirlybird is a tantrum with an overhead 360. So basically a backflip, but a 540 rotation in it is a whirlybird 540.
Yeah. You got it right.
So you probably still have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, look, I do a whirlybird 540 before breakfast.
Just Google it.
I'll Google it. So,
there you go.
Yeah, whirlybird 540, you said that was an easy or a hard one to get?
So that one came pretty quickly. I think I landed that on the 5th try that I ever did. And then I go back to the back roll, which I probably did over 200 tries at a hillside back roll, like just a hillside back roll is like a cartwheel basically. But so yeah, some things came quickly, and some things still just linger away. You just keep trying them, but I still can't land some things. I mean, there's so many tricks.
So you've been doing it a while now, Bec.
I started when I was like 14, 15. I'm 33 now.
And is there still some tricks that you haven't mastered that you still want to master?
No, there's still some tricks. There's some tricks that I think I know I just never land, but there's still some in my goals list that I want to land. I'd still love to land a 720 and a few other. I'd say their names, but they're so confusing.
So you're living in America at the moment?
Yes, yep. I'm over in Claremont, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando.
What's a day in the life of Bec Gange look like at the moment?
At the moment, it was a lot of sitting in front of the computer, but you know, I was just mentioning earlier to you guys that I had back surgery in November. So a lot of rehab, catching up with my physical therapist. Um, so just kind of getting back on track there. I started riding about a week or two ago, so I'm just trying to be smart with this injury, and so basically kind of riding 2 to 3 times a week at the moment, and then just lots of rehab and just keeping the body healthy.
When it comes to when you've done an injury, you've done a few in your time, but tell us about what it's like physically and mentally.
Yeah, so I've had 5 surgeries now. My first one was ACL reconstruction, which is a pretty big one for your first ever surgery because, that's 9 to 12 months off the water. I knew I would come back from that one, but being my first serious injury, I didn't really know what to expect. So that was a challenge, definitely mentally. But you always got to look at the bright side that comes out of something like that. Like being injured really helped me focus on getting my legs stronger. And ever since then, I've had a real focus on gym work, like off the water work to really stay strong and longevity. And then what else did I do? I broke my tibia plateau. So I broke my left leg, which had plate and screws put in. That was 12 weeks on crutches. That was so crappy too. 12 weeks on crutches. I don't know if anyone had to do that, but oh man, that was a whole different mental state to be on crutches for 12 weeks. But the good thing about that one was I was off the crutches and I was healed. It was a really quick recovery process from there on because it's just bone. So once that's healed, you just get your strength back and you're basically good to go. And then the other one was just some orthoscopes in my ankle. But this last one with the back one, I didn't know if I was going to come back from that one. That was a whole year of being in a lot of pain. And I decided to have the surgery at the end of last year after my season. And I really wasn't sure about this one. So it was kind of tough, but it's super nice to be back on the water.
Considering all the surgeries you've had, are they all from wakeboarding?
Pretty much, yeah.
No
pretty much all of them
extracurricular.
have been. No, I'm trying to think if there was anything stupid I've done.
What else are you into apart from wakeboarding?
We like playing disc golf. Tris introduced me to disc golf. And then, we still go in the boat for fun of it. Like there's foiling and wake surfing. So we'll just go out in the boat for the fun of it. I travel so much through the summer that when I'm home, I really like to just muck around in the garden or something like that. Like just doing house stuff because, I'm always gone so often that it's just nice to just chill sometimes.
You got a couple of signature boards.
So I have the Hyperlight Cadence, which is my pro model wakeboard. It's been going for 3 years now. So, and I used to be with Jet Pilot for life jackets, and I made the switch to Hyperlight now. So I have a full range with Hyperlight, which is the wakeboard, a life jacket, and we actually just released the handle and rope today, actually.
Oh, okay.
So you mentioned a couple of names. Tell us about what the funding and sponsorship's been like. It's been a bit of a journey. I'm sure it's probably a little bit easier now, is it, that you've been around the industry for a while? But it's probably, women's sports have probably been hard for funding, but what's it been like for you?
I've had sponsors, but it's not enough to just live off. So usually when I'd come back to Australia every year, I would work when I'd come back, like did vintage seasons. I did a lot of things when I go back to Australia to save up that money to come back and do 6 months in America. Obviously now I have that name and I've been around in the industry. I can kind of live off my salary over here, but a lot of it still depends on how well you do at contests. So, when you're injured, that's why last year, even with my back, I decided not to have surgery till the end of the year because, I needed to do that season. You still kind of rely on contest money, and if you don't do well at contests, then you kind of have a crappy year. And then in terms of women's pay, it's getting better. A lot of the contests now have equal prize money, so top 4 will be the same as men. it's not not like an AFL player will get, but it's something.
So you still do in between America and Australia? Have you been over in America for a while now?
I have. I came over in lockdown, April 2020, and I haven't been back since. So yeah, I hadn't seen my family till the other week when my mum flew over.
Oh,
I
wow.
hadn't seen them for 3 years. I haven't seen Dad yet, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been 3 years since I've been home.
Yeah, we both know your parents well. They've been pretty good supporters of yours, haven't they? They're a bit of an inspiration to you.
Yeah, for sure. They've been amazing, like letting me follow my dream and always being supportive of everything. And Mum says sometimes, she's like, I don't know how you still do it. She's like, I would have quit years ago. But they're always there supporting me. Like Mum was driving the boat for me the other week over here because I couldn't find anyone to drive the boat, so she was out there driving it.
Tell us about your dad. You've got a pretty good story about your dad and how he used to help you land tricks. Did you get excited when you'd land one?
Yeah, you're a little bit excited. There's a unwritten rule that you jump out of the boat when someone lands a new trick. And when I landed my first back roll, like I said, it took me over 200 goes of just crashing. So when I landed my first ever back roll, Dad, he slowed down, but he didn't put into neutral and then jumped out of the boat, and it was heading towards the cliffs there.
Good on him.
But he was just too excited that I had landed it, and yeah, it was a pretty cool moment actually.
What are the other people on the tours like with you? Are they competitive?
Yeah, definitely competitive. Being one of the older ones now, sort of a little out of the group just because I feel a bit older than everybody else. After a contest, I just want to go home, back to the hotel and sleep, and everyone wants to go out. So I'm a little slower than most of them these days in terms of that. But we all get along. There's a couple of girls that I like to ride with a bunch.
How long do you think it'll be before you're competing again?
So the first contest is Moomba, which but I'd already decided I'm not going to make that one. I'm not ready for it.
Yep.
So the next one is in May. I'm aiming to go to that one. So May, June, roughly, I think I'll be good again.
What sort of boat are you behind these days?
Yeah, so I have an A24. Axis is one of my sponsors. I just got a 2023. I just got like a brand new one
Oh, you
about
got
a
the
month
new
ago.
model.
Yeah, yep, I got the
Nice.
new one. It's sweet. Like they just upgraded to touchscreen, dark blue with a black metallic blue flake in it, if that
Ooh,
makes sense.
that
It's
does.
really
That's
cool.
posh.
Yeah. And then I got brown interior because everybody has dirty feet when they get in.
Yep.
So, gotta
Hides it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the one that cleans it. So
Yeah. Going back to your signature wakeboard, your hyperlights, do you have much input in the design of those?
mainly just the colors, the shape. They kind of design it and then send the prototype. But I have a lot of say in the colors and the style.
Yep.
I'll kind of send them some stuff that I'm liking or what I'm interested, what colors and patterns, and then they'll put something together and send me back a few ideas, and then I kind of pick one from there and we'll modify it. So yeah, I have a fair input on what it looks like.
You enjoy that side of it?
No, for sure. I like doing that side of it. Starting to get older, so it's the competing side. Like I'm not sure how long I will keep doing it for. I'm sure my body will tell me when it's had enough, or my mental state will tell me when I've had enough. And
It's
so
usually a
I
good
like
sign.
still being, yeah, exactly. So, and I like doing those sort of things and staying within the industry. And, I have a passion for doing like the graphics with them or doing lessons, doing the Just Ride tour. So I have a passion outside of just the contest.
Beck, tell us a bit about the crazy life you've led throughout the journey. So some of the stories of things that have happened or people you've met.
Oh man, that's a lot of years to think about.
Well, I'm pretty sure I can mention one. You might have ended up on a TV show. Is that true?
Oh my God, yeah, I totally forgot about that one even. See, that's how long it's been. Yeah, that was a funny one. So we ended up being on a reality TV show. We had the houseboat. Channel 7 hit me up one day. I thought it was like a scam. And they're like, oh, do you want to be on a reality TV show? Like, we saw your houseboat and want you to be on the show. And then next thing we know, Tris and me are filming this 3-week TV show. Pretty crazy, instant hotel, and then it ended up being on Netflix. Actually, that's a pretty funny story. Once it went onto Netflix, obviously, like a lot of America and the rest of the world saw it, and I was on a part of the tour one day in the middle of nowhere at this gas station, and this police officer like, "Oh, nice boat, blah blah blah," and then he said to me, "You look really familiar. Do I know you?" And I was like, probably not. Like, I've never been here before. He's like, "No, no, you look really familiar." And then I was like, "Oh, crap." I was like, "Have you seen Instant Hotel?" And he's just like, "That's where I know you from." He's like, "You and your brother are the wakeboarders." I was like, "Yep, that's me."
What did your parents think of the show?
Yeah, they liked it. They
Yeah.
were a bit worried when we were filming the houseboat section, because none of them had driven a houseboat before. So there was a bit of worrying, maybe a little bit of arguments
Whether you get the
when
houseboat
that
back or
was
not.
happened. Yeah, exactly.
That probably worked in your favour, that show, though, in a way, didn't it?
Like, I loved the fact that we gave Mildura some exposure, that like all the rest of them were just Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, like just all the cities. So I really love the fact that, we got to showcase Mildura, show the river. And I was hoping they were going to do like a few more things within Mildura, besides the activities that they'd done. They had to make a show interesting and have drama. So that's kind of what they went with.
That's right. There's not enough drama in Mildura, so we'll just leave it on the houseboat.
Yeah, exactly. It's too relaxed.
Now, do you keep in touch with any of the other contestants from the show, i.e.
No.
Serena?
No, I haven't actually. We
You
did
sound like a
little
bit of a fan of the show, Nico.
I watched it.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I mean, we had like this group chat going like when the show was airing, and it all just kind of faded off after that.
So the drama in the show, was that staged or was it real?
Some of it was real, but mainly it was staged. I feel like they kind of took our personalities and just emphasized them a little bit more, if that makes sense.
It does.
Country bumpkins, and then they really emphasized our
Yep.
country bumpkin ways. But a lot of it was staged. Like I remember the first one at the Brisbane hotel where it said we left all that rubbish. I don't know if you remember that,
Yeah,
but it said
yeah.
like we left the trash out. And I specifically remember Tris and me cleaning that up and taking the rubbish out, and then all of a sudden it was back in the show. So yeah, it was I think a bit of it was staged. A lot of it was staged,
Sneaky.
actually. Yeah. That's why I can't watch reality TV shows anymore.
Who are your idols, Bec?
That's actually probably a good question. My parents have been probably my biggest idol. They're just hardworking, down to earth kind of people. So they always push me and inspire to be a better person. Yeah, like, I don't really follow too many athletes as such, but my parents have been a huge support and idol for me.
Bec, tell us a bit about the support you need to be able to get you going. So obviously at the moment you've got someone that's helping you get back physically.
I've worked with a sports psychiatrist a couple of times now, and then I have my physical therapist. I have a personal trainer. It's just I can't go to them too often because obviously wakeboarding doesn't bring in a lot of money, so I have to kind of budget that in. But yeah, from my parents in Australia, they support me, and my boyfriend here in America, he's always helpful. And then I got sponsors. They're always supporting me however they can.
Now, do you miss Australia, living in America?
I really miss meat pies.
Really?
If you could send me a couple of meat pies,
we
like
could
some
do that.
coward's
I'm
pies.
not sure of the quality they'll
man.
be when I get there.
Yeah, I miss that, and I miss chicken Parmys. And my mum actually brought me over some barbecue shapes and some chicken chips, so that was pretty exciting. I got some Vegemite over here, so at least I feel a little bit at home when I have that stuff.
Speaking of that, diet-wise, do you have to work pretty hard on the diet, or does it come naturally?
I probably should be a little bit better. It's very hard over here to eat really good, but it's definitely a lot easier when I'm actually home to eat healthy. In season, it's much harder because I'm gone pretty much every week on the road. So when you're doing the Just Ride tour, it's whatever you can find when you're on the road, which will just be takeaway places or servo food or stuff like that. So in season, it's pretty hard to keep up with it, but I try my best to eat good.
And are you coming home soon, Bec? What's the plan? Have you got any plans to come back to Australia or Mildura?
I do. I was hoping I wanted to come back from Moomba and then spend some time at home just after that, but unfortunately I won't be making it back. And now the season will start in April again. So I'm hoping to come back maybe at the end of the year or the start of next year again.
I reckon you might have a meat pie sponsor at Bread and Butter Bakery when
I
you get
reckon
home.
so.
We'll work on that one for you. But,
Perfect.
we'll make sure we
Just
give you
while
plenty
I'm
of meat
home,
pies.
endless amount of pies.
Yeah, well, I reckon we can work on that. We know someone that knows someone. Hey, and what do you love about America?
Well, I love me and my boyfriend bought a house here, so I love
wow.
being at home. And yeah. So we bought one in Claremont, and we're on the water. So just being home with the boat out the back at the back doorstep, and just going to get to ride whenever I want to. That's pretty cool. But they're all super friendly people over here, and I love traveling and just like the diversity of America. I get to go to Texas and then Utah and then Tennessee. So you just get to travel and get to see so many cool places over here.
Are you still as passionate about the sport as you were when you were younger, Bec?
I am, just in a different way, I think. Like when you're young, you have these imagination or these ideas of what it's going to be like when you're a professional or when you become a world champion, and then it's kind of not what you thought it was going to be. Like I'm still living a dream, and I know that I can't do this forever, so I make the most of it while I can. And that's why I became a wakeboarder. Like I came over to America in 2008, 9 and 10. I missed 11, 12 when I moved up to the Gold Coast for a few years there. And then after that, I was kind of like, I'm going to give it one more go, because I just didn't want to get to 60 and being like, oh, what if I could have been a world champion? Or what if I could have done something with this? So in 2013 is the year I turned pro and came over, and 14 was my first world championship I won. I definitely see the industry differently now, but I still have the passion for it. I still love it. Like if I haven't been in the boat for a while, I'm pretty grumpy.
So what would you say is your greatest achievement in the sport?
I always thought winning worlds would be my greatest achievement, but after winning Moomba the other year, I think that has more value to me than worlds. Like worlds was my dream. It's like, yeah, I want to win Masters and Moomba and Nationals and everything like that.
Yeah.
But like Worlds was my one that I wanted to win, and I won 2 of those. But then when I won Moomba, I didn't realize how much I wanted that until I won it, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like in front of thousands of people at the Moomba Festival, like that's a huge achievement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite trick?
My
Do you have
favorite
one?
trick, one that I can land or one that I see?
Well, okay, give us one that you can land that's your favorite, and
Okay.
and then another one that you can't land.
That I can. Okay. So one that I can do consistently is an indie tantrum to blind. So it's basically a
Yeah.
backflip, which you grab the board and then you land wrapped.
Nico's
I
nodding
used
his
to
head like he
do-
knows exactly what that
Yeah,
is
like
here,
he knows what
Bec.
I'm talking about.
I
He's
can't
got
do it,
his
Ray,
phone
but I know
under-
what it is.
He's got his phone under the desk, just being like indie tantrum to blind.
Oh yeah, that's it.
It's like some kid throwing a tantrum, like screaming or something. But yeah, that landing, that's probably my favorite trick at the moment. My favorite trick of all time. There's a trick that some old school riders used to do that not too many people do it anymore, but it's a Mute Ole 7. So it's they spin 720 degrees, but the handle kind of goes over their head.
Yep.
Instead of passing the
Yeah.
handle. And yeah, it just looks really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you still get on a single ski, or you just straight wakeboard?
I haven't got on a single ski in a little while, actually. I don't own one, but my friend at the lake has one, and so we'll ski behind his boat every now and then.
Okay, this podcast is called I Should Have Stayed in Bed, Bec. A question for you. What's your should have stayed in bed moment in life?
Oh, crap. All right, give me a second. I guess when when I broke my leg, I probably should have stayed in bed that day.
How did you break your leg? How did that happen?
I was at a photo shoot in California, and I went to do a trick, like a tantrum backflip, just do a trick that I've done a million times. And when I landed, my front leg just went really straight. My knee pushed the bone, that like the tibia, the lower half of your leg.
Yep,
It
that's
pushed that bone down. Probably a day I probably should have stayed in bed.
It leads into another question I was going to ask before, Bec. Do you carry injuries with you at the moment?
For sure, I still feel injuries, definitely. Like my ACL, so I had a patella graft. So sometimes that where they took the tendon away to make it a graft, like in the front there, that will play up. Where I broke my leg, it kind of I get shin splints from that, and then my back definitely. I think my back pain will be there forever, but it's all manageable. That's why I spend so much time off the water as well in the gym and keeping strong that way. I just got to pace myself a little bit more these days.
Have you thought about life after wakeboarding and what that looks like for you?
For sure. I've always enjoyed coaching people, so I hope one day that I can continue doing that. I also did a certified personal training course, so I'm hoping in the future too I can help fellow wakeboarders and other athletes to keep their body healthy for longevity and get stronger. You know, my trainer helped me.
Bec, thank you so much. You're an absolute inspiration. It's a credit to you, how long you've been at the top of your sport, but how long you've lasted in your sport too. And for a girl from Mildura, we're actually really proud of you. You're an absolute superstar. So thank you so much for your time this morning. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in Mildura, and we'll feed you with plenty of pies.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks,
I
Bec.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Bec.
Where is the rat this week?
Nico! I'm fucked up again, mate. I was supposed to go to the fucking air show. I come all the way, drove 600k down to Geelong and fucked up. I didn't buy a fucking ticket. I couldn't fucking get in. Could I? So what did I do? I said, fuck this shit. And I just come back into Geelong and into Torquay. I've been to the fucking shitload of pubs and got on a fucking piss. I fucking went to the Little Creatures. I had a feed. I thought I'd just have a couple of fucking beers, that's it. Yeah, I had a few, had a couple more. And then I fucking just decided, fuck this shit. I went to Torquay. And I went to the board riders. I had a couple more beers, just a couple. And this is fucking few more, and I'll go up the road and I'll go to fucking Blackman's fucking brewery. Brewery, it's brewery, you dumb fuck. It just, geez, what's fucking wrong with you? Fuck me. And here I am, I'm still sitting here, because I didn't go to the fucking air show. They didn't have any fucking net tickets. I got to the lineup, and apparently, it's sold out. My pre-planning fucked up. Where are you? Why aren't you fucking answering? Why don't I say it in a normal voice? Not this. Hey, Nico. Anyway, I didn't make it there. Fuck you, get fucked.
This episode of the I Should Have Stayed in Bed podcast is brought to you by Bread and Butter Bakery.
Not just the best home for bread, but it's also got the best pies.
Made for world champion wakeboarders.
2 locations.
Mildura and
Orimple. Hi, Pico.